My mother's worried voice came into my ears. "Sonu, why have you used milk? You know your brother has to go to the office in the morning and he takes tea before he leaves." "But mother," "I did not use milk. I was very tired last night and slept without taking anything." My mother was standing at my bed corner, and in the background I was listening to the angry voices of my elder brother, who was yelling for not having tea, and all the blame of it was on me as usual. We were living in a combined family. My elder brother was very rude since his early age, but after his marriage his anger started mounting with every day coming. Actually, my brother and his wife didn't want to see us anymore in this house. Had my father been alive, the situation might have been different, but now things are getting worse. Actually, our home was small and consisted of 3 rooms. One room was with my mother, and one was mine. They lived in the 3rd room, which was very congested for 3 of them. They both and their child, my nephew. Many times he expressed his desire directly, but I was a mere ward boy in a hospital, and my income was very limited. With this meager income, I could not think about having a house on rent. I tried many times to leave the house, but my mother always stopped me from doing so. For her sake, I was forced to live in this house and bore everything. But things are getting really worse. I told my mother that I was leaving this house if she wanted to come with me or not. She also understood that she could not live in that house anymore, and she gave me her consent. In the evening, I went to some property dealer and gave them my requirements. Luckily, he arranged a 2-room small house in one day, and we both, mother and son, shifted there. My brother did not even ask his mother to stop, and we took our luggage and left our house for good. Now I had become more conscious about my mother and came soon after finishing my duty, because she really felt bored alone. First, she remained busy with her grandson, but now all day she remained alone. I felt her helplessness, but what could I do? One day when I reached home, I saw a woman sitting in my house and was talking to my mother in a very friendly way. I was quite satisfied that someone was there to share my mother's loneliness. One day I was working as usual in the ward when a woman came to me weeping and asked for my help. Actually, her only son got in an accident and she had no relation. She was imploring so bitterly, and I saw her son lying in the bed in front of me. I could not refuse her and gave all my salary, which I drew from the bank, to pay all my dues of the month. If I gave her my salary, then it would be very difficult for me to spend the whole month, and especially the rent of my house. But how could leave her and her son in that condition? I gave her all my salary, and she said that only God would reward me. And that was very enough for me. My duty finished, and I came back home, and my mother told me that she had seen a girl for me. I told her mother we had not enough money to spend even a single month properly, and you are talking about marriage. She told me girls also brought their good fortune with her after marriage. I asked her if she belonged to a rich family. She said in negative. Then I told her why didn't she bring her good fortune to her own house. But she insisted on convincing me that fortune blossoms when 2 pure souls meet together. I just smiled at her innocence. I found her so much happy after a long time and did not want to dishearten her. She showed me the picture of the girl, and she was really beautiful, and she started praising her, and I was nodding, left to right, to tease her, and she laughed heartily. I asked her if she was the daughter of the woman who used to come to our house. She nodded, but she said that she was not a fool. She judged her during her visit to her home and found her a good girl. Somebody knocked on our door when we were talking. I went outside and found 2 men standing there in black suits. I asked them of their purpose for coming because I didn't know them and thought they knocked at the door mistakenly. But they asked if my name was Sonu. I nodded. They said that I had to go with them as their boss wanted to see me. I was confused and feared the situation arose, but they consoled me that I must not have been worried. So I boarded with them in a very luxurious car and reached a very big palace. Guards were everywhere. Passing through many corridors, I was presented to a person who was clad in white shirt and pajamas. He smiled at me and introduced himself as Seth Abed. I gasped as I listened to many stories about Seth Abed the billionaire. And there were very few people in the country who had not heard his name. I quizzically watched his face while he wanted me there. He asked me to sit down and then started thus. I was in the hospital on my usual visit to help poor people twice a month when I watched the woman begging money for her son, and then before I helped her, you gave all your salary to her. I investigated that instead of paying your dues, you helped her. That time I felt small compared to you. Though I help poor people a lot, but not with all my wealth. And now I want to give you a gift and hope you will accept it for my sake. Then he ordered his servant to bring the paper, and then he gave the papers to me and said they were 2 houses, 2 canal each. And now they are in your name. I was stunned. But why? He then resumed thus. I had 2 sons, and my wealth knows no bounds. One son was really a gem and was my heart, and the other son is imbecile. My rival killed my son who could manage all my business, and I was left to live with my special child, who does not know the importance of wealth at all. Though I punished all the killers and planners, but nothing was left to me, so I started my unlimited wealth among the needy, and this gives me satisfaction. When I wanted to return him the paper, he hugged me and wanted me to accept it for his sake, and said that it was the prayer of the needy mother who said, God will give you its reward, and think this is not from me but from God. He ordered the same servants to leave me at my new house as everything was ready there for me. I thought that it was a dream. I took my mother and shifted to the new house, the second house we rented for our expenditures. My mother said one day, I didn't tell you that fortune smiles when 2 pure souls meet. Which soul you are talking about? I won't marry that poor soul. I ran smiling as she threw her slipper on me, which I could not escape as usual. And now we are 3, and my mother is very hopeful that we shall be 4 soon.